Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Real Time Talk with Eagle 3D Streaming. I'm Quentin Anderson, the host of today's show. And today I have with us Kevin Smith. He is the chairman and CEO of Spine3D, and he has joined us today to talk a little bit about spine and some of the amazing projects that he and his team are involved in. Kevin, how are you doing today?
Great, Quentin. Thank you very much for inviting me to participate in this podcast.
Absolutely. And thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you've got a lot going on, so I definitely appreciate you swinging by.
Pleasure's mine.
Cool. Well, so let's get into it. And I'd be really curious just to learn a little bit more about your background and sort of how did you get to where you are today? How did sort of the genesis of Spine and how's that evolved to where you are today?
Well, yeah, I graduated with my bachelor's degree in architecture from Florida A&M University in 1994. I also got a master's degree from Virginia Tech in 1997. And I left FAMU, we called it FAMU, to explore architectural design in new innovative ways. And, I actually struggled with sketching, but I was really intrigued by how 3D modeling and visualization could help with design. And after grad school, I was hired at Spillis Candela and Partners, which was later acquired by AECOM. And it was there that I started the Advanced Technologies Division, and I met my future business partners. And we spent 3 years producing all the digital assets that came through that company. And during that time, I also took on an adjunct professor position at Florida International University School of Architecture. And I taught advanced visualization courses at night. And it was such a success that they hired me full-time as computer director and an assistant professor. And while I was teaching, I was encouraged to branch out professionally. And I decided to start my own practice, which is Spine today. Our architecturally trained team, we specialize in creating digital assets for design, marketing, sales, and it really just includes 3D modeling, rendering, animation, interactive tours, AR, and also VR experiences. And we've been in business since 2003, and we've grown Spine into a leader in the ArchViz industry.
Awesome. And I even though we've known each other for a few years now, I didn't know you had an academic background like that. That's really cool to hear.
Yeah, although I never let anybody call me Professor Smith. I didn't like that.
Man, I may have to after hearing all the background that you've got. And so thank you kind of for giving an overview and how Spine got started. And so if we just talk about the mission of Spine a little bit, like what is most important to you guys when it comes to working and servicing clients?
Good question. Well, at Spine, we really continually to strive for the highest level of quality and realism. Our business model centers around creative solutions that accommodate projects of any size and budget. We have the experience and the infrastructure to exceed our clients' expectations and help them meet their objectives. When I started the company, it made sense to focus primarily on architectural visualization. After all, I was an architect. It was natural to continue producing the assets and working on projects similar to what I had done at AECOM. But I soon realized there was more expansive web of clientele and opportunities that all relied on digital asset creation. Architects are tied to engineers, landscape architects, real estate developers, and ad agencies. And this enabled my company to diversify our product offerings and branch out into markets like product manufacturing. And what began as an architectural visualization company has really grown into a full-service digital content creation studio.
Yeah, and it's amazing to kind of see those evolutions. In a previous life, I was also I ran a digital agency, content creation. Yes, yep.
You are a competitor.
I know. Yes, kind of.
Not kind of. It sounds like it.
Well, I was so I started as a 3D modeler way back in the day. Then I realized that I didn't have as much skill and talent in 3D modeling as people who can make a profession out of it. So What's the phrase when you realize that you can't be an artist, you go into business or something like that?
Yeah, I
That
don't know
that
exactly the words, but I know where you're going with it.
so that was the story for me. I realized quickly that there are artists much better than I was, so I kind of became like a business guy. Um, but so speaking of business, and I know that you've probably seen a lot of things happen in the industry over the years. So what are some of the trends or shifts that you're seeing in client behavior around content creation and delivery, especially as of late? What are your thoughts around that?
The most obvious trend right now, AI. AI this, AI that. I mean, well, it's quick and easy to enter prompts and generate beautiful images or animation clips. They really lack the accuracy and precision. And we're also seeing clients, primarily our architectural clients, they try to use their internal teams to create digital assets themselves. And while the results aren't always high quality or accurate, they're sometimes willing to cut corners to save money. And others
Mm,
attempt to, outsource work to freelance artists or offshore studios. And many of them realize this becomes more expensive and time consuming when they're forced to deal with communication breakdowns, having to go back multiple times to get even the simplest edits done correctly. But the majority of our clients understand these limitations and would rather work with Spine. I mean, after all, we're a company that's architecturally trained. We have a proven track record. We have smooth communication processes, and we really deliver the work on time at a fair price and at the highest quality. But I mean, really, that's probably the biggest trend right now, and we're trying to see how we can use it as a tool to enhance our work. We use it for storyboarding. We use it for testing out ideas on the fly with our team. We're also even trying to see how we can maybe incorporate AI into some of our VR projects, particularly with avatars.
mm. Yeah, and it feels like AI has been just the topic of the last couple of years, and it seems like it's gone in sort of cycles where at first it was all hype and we were trying to use AI for everything, and now that's blown over a little bit, and we're finding real uses for the technology.
It also helps me a lot with just tightening up some of my email correspondence, and also in writing proposals and things like that.
Yeah, if you've gotten an email from me in the last year that's more than 5 sentences,
It's not you.
it's not me.
But you know what? That's part of today. Just like us having a conference call. Everybody's using Google Meet or Zoom or Teams, and it's just the way of communicating, and it's no different with the AI.
Right, right, absolutely. And the other piece of it that you mentioned briefly is the high fidelity piece. And it's interesting, especially with your story, because you came from more of the architectural technical background. So I'm curious about the high fidelity piece. So why is creating high fidelity content important for your team and your customers?
Well, I've always believed in the phrase, and I know it's kind of cheesy, you only have one chance to make a really good impression. But, clients come to Spine to convert their projects or their products into photorealistic assets for their marketing and sales efforts. And high fidelity content matters because it builds credibility and trust. When someone sees a photorealistic rendering, a cinematic animation trailer, or experiences an immersive VR walkthrough, they can visualize the final product with confidence. And that emotional connection and clarity often makes the difference between a prospect engaging or walking away. And beyond just pretty pictures, clients come to Spine for good storytelling. So high fidelity content allows us to craft narratives that resonate, whether it's showing how a space will feel at different times of the day, how a product functions in real world scenarios, or how our development will transform a neighborhood. These details matter because they make the story believable and compelling.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I like to say high fidelity speaks for itself.
Mhm.
Meaning, if we don't create, if just as a simple example, if we create an architectural walkthrough that's not high fidelity, well then we as content deliverers or the architect have to then explain, well, it's not going to really look like this. The sun will actually come from this angle. Or, okay, well, imagine the materials. It's going to be a marble over here, and and then that doesn't happen with high fidelity content. It speaks for itself. It's already all there. You just have to experience it.
To the extent that, I mean, we have some clients where, you know, we'll create the visuals for them for pre-sales and marketing. And after it's built, they'll give us the photographs and we'll put them side by side. And sometimes you can't really tell the difference between the two. But, you know, giving them that type of visual or that experience before the shovel goes into the ground or before they put down a deposit, it's tremendous.
Absolutely. And along that line, just when we're speaking about clients, it is very much a collaborative process with them, as you're just mentioning. So how do you approach client collaboration? Just understanding their needs and proposing solutions. Like, how does that work with you guys?
You know, we always try to understand our clients' needs, and we recommend the most creative solutions to meet their objectives. I'll give you a couple of quick examples out of the top of my head. So Assa Abloy, they're a company out of Sweden, and they specialize in advanced door opening solutions. When I say advanced, like fingerprint, retina scanning, those kind of things. And they came to Spine to create a virtual city to showcase these door opening solutions. And, you know, while we could have built a city for them, we also knew they had budget limitations. So we basically recommended creating a virtual campus. And we started with a university building to display that line of products. And it was such a success, they expanded to K through 12 and healthcare. And now they're even thinking of having some of their partners place their products in the same environment to expand their reach and share marketing costs. Wow. So what basically began as a single virtual building has become an entire ecosystem for them. We have another client, LX Houses. They actually are a subset of LG, but LX Houses USA, they do countertops, flooring, they do wall materials, cabinets, and they came to us with a kitchen. They wanted to do a configurator for their kitchens, and they just gave us some simple like photographs of a kitchen, and they wanted us to swap out the materials. And we were telling them that the lighting, the reflections can't be accurately represented. We'd have to build it, the whole kitchen or the whole space digitally to give us that control. So we actually steered them into creating a virtual showroom. So we had a kitchen bathroom showroom where you could walk through like 4 or 5 different bathroom and kitchen layouts and just kind of walk through and design it on your own, print out the specs, find out the pricing. I mean, they even had a slab showroom where you could see the materials full scale. So, I mean, again, started with a simple idea and it evolved to something that gives them much more marketing reach.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems like that is the case more and more so with customers where it's, what do we call it, the 360 sales, or where, you know, it's not just one type of media that's delivered, it's multiple types. And Unreal Engine has some leverage there just because you can create so many different types of content, interactive, immersive experiences, animations, renderings. There's a lot of leg room there for them to work. So I am kind of curious, you know, why did you decide to implement Unreal Engine as part of your workflow?
That's an awesome question. Real-time interaction was the driving factor. I mean, while we started, you know, we cut our teeth with 3D Studio Max and V-Ray. I was always envious of my friends in the gaming industry. A lot of them actually went into the gaming industry right out of architectural school. But they'd show me how they could manipulate lighting and materials on the fly, walk through their projects in real time. And the workflow was so much more fluid and creative compared to our traditional render and wait approach in Max. And once we taught ourselves how to implement Unreal Engine into our project, there was no turning back. I mean, the ability to iterate instantly, make client requested changes on the spot during presentations, and exploring design options interactively completely transformed how we work. And what used to take hours of rendering now happens in minutes. And it's not just faster. I mean, it's opened up entirely new creative possibilities and ways of collaborating with our clients.
I know. I feel like I remember the moment when I was introduced to Unreal Engine. There's this cinematic that was created called Rebirth from Unreal, and it's very, very photorealistic, and it was rendered in real time. And at that time, I was still rendering in V-Ray on a CPU. You know, takes 3 hours, and then the client asks for you to move something in a shot, and you got to re-render it.
Not just 3 hours. You sometimes wait and some glitch, and then you have to re-render it again. It's painful.
Yeah.
Painful.
Yeah. And with Unreal, I mean, literally, you're rendering, 60 times an image, 60 times a second. I mean, once you start doing it, it's like, what were we doing before? Yeah.
No, I have to confess too. I mean, as an architect, I actually am not a gamer. We love using Unreal, but I like building the content for the levels, not playing them.
Right.
So like, even when my sons will give me like, one of my favorites was, I think it's Half-Life 2. And I just wanted to put on the VR headset and just look at the details and walk around the environments and study them, not, run for my life. So it's just, I'm so enamored by like how high fidelity it's gotten. And when we saw that it was, getting better and better, that's when we made that decision to say, you know what, we're going to shift over, and whenever we can use Unreal versus 3D Studio Max, we'll do it.
Awesome. And I mean, it's always so much better to show than to talk about it. So would you be open if I maybe screen shared and we can walk through a project or two that you guys have done?
Absolutely, Quentin.
Cool.
Absolutely. So I'd like to share 2 projects in particular that really we pushed the limits with Unreal, and we had amazing clients that allowed us to do that. So really 2 projects that really showcase how we converted VR walkthroughs into meaningful and engaging experiences are Futures World and Satoshi Global Village. So I don't know if you want to queue up, the first one, Futures World, and I can maybe kind of walk them through and give them a little bit more insight as to what the projects were about.
Cool. I'll go ahead and press play, and I've got the audio also, so if it's too loud, let me know and I can turn it down. Or I can.
I mean, honestly, it's one of those projects where you step back and think, we actually made this. So what you're looking at here is when it loads up, it's basically a VR experience that we built in the Unreal Engine. It was a collaboration between the incredible team at EY and Spine. And the brief was unlike anything we've ever been given before. They want us to visualize the cruising industry 15 to 20 years in the future. Like, what does cruising actually look like in 2040? Now, what's cool is that we already had incredible assets we built for Norwegian Cruise Lines. We took them and transformed them into the futuristic world that you're going to see. But this is where it's exciting. You're basically stepping into an autonomous vehicle, and you get to fly directly to the cruise ship.
Nice.
And you can do this like you're playing a video game, which is completely nuts. No port, no terminal, no check-in desk. The ship just exists out there, and you fly straight to it. And that was a powerful moment to design, because it instantly tells the audience, we're not in the world that you know anymore.
Right.
So now we're kind of like landing down onto its little pad and going down onto the ship. They wanted to have all the heads-up display that kind of tracks your metrics and things like that. And we populated it with other 3D people. But once you're on board, every detail is intentional. You're tracking what you consume. There's crops being harvested on the ship. There's food being 3D printed on demand.
Nice.
The whole thing is solar powered. Basically EY they wanted to spark real conversations with their clients about where technology is taking this particular industry, and I think it succeeded in doing that. And they're even contemplating hiring Spine to do some other market sectors, so the future of agriculture, banking, education, those types of things. Because before, their group would just share a two-dimensional blueprint with a PowerPoint slide on how they could do these things. Now they're even using it. They're hoping to use this to also train staff and train their teams on the technology so they could set it up in multiplayer. So we even have badges in this project where you can collect badges to go through training sessions. It's pretty cool. So that's the first one that's really dear to my heart, and not a project that we typically get to work on. And then the second one is what's called Satoshi Global Village. And I believe it is tied to the founder of Bitcoin. But this is a project that is in the Bahamas. Basically, this is an architectural is just getting this project hosted through Eagle 3D with Pixel Streaming. I mean, what that means is instead of needing a specific machine that meets certain hardware requirements, anyone, anywhere in the world can experience this island from their browser. And that's a game changer for how you sell a vision this big. And this is exactly what VR pixel streaming technology was made for.
Absolutely. And I mean, we would love to stream something like this. I mean, it's so beautiful and so amazing. And
we'll figure it out.
let's do it. And then that is kind of, or one of the questions I'm curious about is, so why are clients requesting pixel streaming? Is it or what problem is it solving for them?
I mean, in my personal opinion, the barrier to entry for VR projects can be challenging and very cost prohibitive for a lot of our clients. I mean, they have to purchase high-end machines that meet specific hardware requirements, and they need to make sure everything is set up properly. And for a lot of our clients, that investment can be a deal breaker. And pixel streaming for us was a game changer, not just for us, but for our clients. I mean, now they pay per concurrent user per month. They can access their projects from any device with a reliable internet connection. And there's no special hardware, no downloads, no plugins, etc. But I mean, this solves two major problems: accessibility and scale. I mean, our clients can now share immersive experiences with stakeholders, investors, or customers anywhere in the world without asking them to invest in expensive equipment. It democratizes the access and allows them to reach a much broader audience with significantly less friction.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Sometimes we don't realize that even though it's not being used for gaming purposes, we are using a gaming engine, and that means whoever's played a game, if you're using a PC, you need a gaming PC. And so the benefit with pixel streaming is that, well, now you no longer need that. You can run it in the cloud and just stream it. Yeah, which is super, super cool. And I mean, Kevin, we worked together for a while, and we really do enjoy working with you guys. Absolutely. And so how do you see, from your perspective, how does Spine and Eagle 3D complement each other?
It's a perfect partnership, because our strengths are completely complementary, Quentin. I mean, Spine produces high fidelity digital content, which, is the renderings, the animation trailers, the tours, the interactive tours, the VR experiences. But Eagle 3D provides the platform to deliver those experiences seamlessly through a simple URL. Spine's core competency is digital content creation. Yours is with web hosting and pixel streaming technology. And also, I also found out about the model optimization, which is very helpful. But what this means for our clients is they get world-class content creation backed by enterprise-level delivery infrastructure. I mean, they don't need to download massive files. They don't have to install special software. They can access and share immersive experiences instantly through any browser. So I think together we're solving both sides of the equation. I mean, creating stunning content and making it accessible to anyone, anywhere, on any device.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Creating amazing content and getting it into the hands of our customers.
It's a game changer. It really is. I mean, a lot of our clients are like, what? Because again, they've been used to having to buy the MetaQuest headset and the gaming machine, the Alienware machine, or whatever. And a lot of them don't even know how to set it up. So it just avoids a lot of roadblocks. And honestly, a lot of our clients don't even like to put on the VR headsets, although I am very excited to continue to push and test those VR headsets in multiplayer. I know there's latency issues and things like that, but I, as an architect and somebody who appreciates the immersive quality of the VR headset, I think it's worth pursuing still.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, someone's got to do it. Someone's got to push the envelope.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, it's fun to do so. Well, Kevin, thank you so much for swinging by. I know the half hour goes by really, really fast. We're already there. For those who are tuning in, is there a good way to get in touch with you if they maybe have a project for you guys to look at, or is there a best way to do that? Just go to the website, or how should they reach out?
If you need to reach me directly, I can you can send an email to kevin@s3d.net. That's my private email. And if not, you can always go to spine3d.com, and there's a contact page where you can fill out, and it'll be directed to me. I feel free to go through our portfolio, look at the projects that we worked on, the clients we've worked with, and keep an eye on what's coming up, because Spine and Eagle 3D have some exciting stuff going on. And we're very thrilled and honored to be a strategic partner of yours. You guys have been great to work with, and we just are excited what's to come.
Yeah. The feeling is mutual, 100%. Well, thank you again, Kevin, and thank you all for tuning in. This has been Real Time Talk with Eagle 3D Streaming. I'm Quentin Anderson. Our host today has been Kevin Smith with Spine3D. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next show.
Cheers.
Right. Cheers.
See you guys.